Let's turn on my mic here so people can hear me a little. Testing, 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 testing. Okay, dokies, that's a little better. So with this video, I wanted to talk about some parts of Valkyria Chronicles 4 that I did not cover in my last review, unfortunately. Mostly because I was a little tired and because I didn't make a comprehensive list like I should have. I only had like a 3/4 finished list before I started. Specifically, I had a criticism about the gameplay that I really wanted to talk about and I did not get a chance to talk about. But now here's my chance. So the one thing I wanted to talk about the most was the leader system. In every Valkyria Chronicles game, there's something called the leader system. How it works is that certain characters have a command point assigned to them directly. And when you deploy that character, that command point is awarded to you as a bonus command point when you are selecting units to do actions during your turn. And in Valkyria Chronicles as a series, command points are incredibly valuable. Super valuable. They're worth so much. Basically, whether or not you can like pull off a last minute maneuver or whether you can pull off that necessary order, like it is literally the crux of the game, the spine of the game, so to speak. It's the foundation of the game. Command points are critically important. And so because they're critically important, you want to deploy your leaders all the time. The problem with that is that you feel like if you want to win a mission and get the S rank, you have to deploy all your leaders all the time. Otherwise, you're crippling yourself, right? And when I say that, I actually do mean that seriously. Like, as in certain missions just become incredibly so much harder that you wonder what the hell you're doing. Why haven't I deployed these leaders yet? All right. And another problem with the system is that if there are too many leaders, then a lot of the side characters get ignored. Because think of it like this. You start a mission, you have 8 slots, okay? Yeah, hey Al, how you doing? There are 8 slots to deploy units, right? You might need one sniper and only one sniper. And so because of that, you're going to deploy Kai. Because why not? She has the leader point attached. If you don't deploy her, you're basically crippling yourself. You might just need one grenadier. It's pretty rare to need more than one sniper or one grenadier unless you're doing a specific mission, right? Because when you're going in blind, you don't know what you're dealing with here. And grenadiers and snipers have low AP. So if you're going to bring in more than one sniper or one grenadier, you better have a really good reason to do it. Right? That's just an example. Right? And for half of the first part of VC4, sorry, it doesn't make sense. For the first half of VC4, when you start missions, it's pretty rare to need more than one shock trooper. Most of the time, you only need one. And so then Laz gets deployed. So by the time you're like halfway through the game, there are so many characters that have just been ignored unless you went out of your way by a big margin to deploy them. It's kind of a shame. There are 50 characters deployable in this game. It shouldn't be such a discriminatory system. The weird thing about this is it's pretty much a copy of the exact same leader system in Valkyria Chronicles 1. Which was bad in that game. People didn't like it in that game. In the mod Galleon Crossfire, all those leader points have been detached from those units. And then missions have had their base command point deploy assignment increased. So you can deploy whoever you want. Right? In VC2, the system is a bit more lenient. There aren't so many leaders in that game, and you can assign a leader point to any character you want. And in VC3 is probably the most friendly system. The only leader is Kurt, and then you can assign up to 2 command points to any person in your squad. any people in your squad. Sorry. And so VC3 system is pretty much the best. Like Kurt has to be deployed every time, but you have so much other room, it doesn't really matter. You can deploy anybody else if you want. But for some reason in VC4, they brought back the VC1 system, and then they kind of like patched on the VC2 and VC3 system of like assigning a leader. But 4 leaders that you can never reassign is super overkill. And that's a big criticism I have of the game. If there's a sequel, I really hope they don't do that again. Forget the whole leader thing, alright? Do you have any idea how long it took me to raise the rank of all my snipers to corporal? It took way too long. I didn't even know Norito was in the game or Leonhardt. Just, yeah. I tried. I mean, Aladdin, my self-insert, is in the game, but I couldn't use him enough. I had to forcibly use him. I had to go out of my way to use him, even when it didn't seem the most beneficial thing to do. So that's my criticism of the leader system in the game. The SP system helps out a lot, though. It's great when you have a clutch moment with a leader and you can use the SP system to move forward. I think I was going to talk about the story here. Yeah. I think I was going to talk about potential activation. That was the next part of the gameplay I wanted to talk about. So, there are 2 types of potential activations in Valkyria games. Alright. The first is just a regular one. You're just running along, a little pop-up appears at the bottom of the screen, and you get a bonus or a debuff. Alright. But in certain cases, there's a full screen projection. Boom. The game stops, you get a full screen cut in, the character doing their look, and then the potential activation. My beef with that was certain characters have way too many full screen activations, especially ones that activate a lot. Right? The one unit, I believe her name is not Fleur, but Feely. She has a bad potential that lowers her accuracy, and boy, it's very common. And you just constantly see the cut in. Kai has like 4 full screen potentials. They are really annoying, especially ones that activate after you fired your weapon. Why on earth does that happen? There should be a toggle in the menu to turn that off. Just like Fire Emblem, where you can turn off the battles, like the 3D battles, you should be able to turn off full screen potentials. It's literally just a toggle. We know this because we modded VC1. Is you just flip one value in hex editing, and the potential activation is no longer full screen. And my second minor complaint about the potentials is that the new potential activation screen faces the characters from an angle, and you can see above their shoulders, but because it's at an angle, you don't get the expressive animations from the past. Eddie used to do like a flex when she activated her potential. But nowadays, sorry, not in VC4, all you saw was like facial expression changes, which is, yeah, it's okay. But if you're gonna cut into my game with a cool, like, snazzy potential activation, you better show me something cooler than just a facial expression. And to address Alt's comments here, yeah, it's true. Certain units are way better than others, especially leaders. I would argue that the best shock trooper is definitely Laz. He's just too strong. When it comes to snipers, actually, I find that Leonhardt is the best sniper. I think he is the only sniper that has critical hit activation on his sniper shot. Because of that, he can guarantee kills that other snipers can't at higher ranges. But that's up to interpretation, of course. Scouts, Minerva is just so strong, the other scouts feel bad to use. And that's where the leader complaint comes back in again. Minerva's the leader, right? Is there a need to put a second scout in the field? I mean, I can think of very few missions where that sort of thing is required. Yeah. And she has 7, and when you stack accessories, she has like 80 evasion or something crazy. No scout can keep up with that. It's kind of lame. Yeah. Too many leader point assignments. You start an expert mission, you have Claude leader point. Well, I mean, now I have like 7 slots left. Now here comes Minerva, Laz, Kai, Riley. Now I have 5 more command points. That's a big deal. 5 extra command points is like the difference between a mission being incredibly hard and extremely easy. Critical strike, defense boost, suddenly bam. Suddenly the mission becomes very easy. Cool. Oh, now I remember the last gameplay component I wanted to like address. So when you are playing this game and you are beating missions, the game secretly awards you points to use in the medical office. But you can't see them, so you don't know they're not. You don't know these points are being built up in the background. So before I beat the game, I took the time to like clear out everything. I'm like all 100% the game before I beat it, right? Well, I got like 90% done. I'm like, you know what? I'll go ahead and complete the final mission anyway. Well, I do this, and then suddenly, hey, medical office, you can spend these special points here. Problem, the big problem, 5 digits. The number can only go up to 99999. Why? Why is it like that? I should be rewarded for playing a ton of the game before I beat the ending. But instead I'm punished. Because of this system, you actually want to beat the game as quickly as possible. You don't want to do any skirmishes. You don't want to do any character missions. You just want to beat the game. But that's bad. What kind of game doesn't reward you, in fact, no, punishes you for beating it too slowly? Not in terms of like being lazy, but like taking your time and finishing all the missions. It's so weird. And when you look at the UI, it looks like they originally planned it to be 6 digits and then changed their mind. So Sega is just being evil because they can? Like, I don't get it. I don't know why they did that. I managed to unlock everything anyway because I managed to like I still had expert skirmishes and some DLC left, but damn, that's mean. Like a player that goes through and beats everything before they beat the game should be rewarded. That's so messed up. I think that was it. Yeah, I think that's the only addendums I had. I guess I didn't really talk about the music in my last review. So for this game, all the music is new, except when it comes to battle themes, they only made like 4 new themes. And the original VC1 had like 10. And so they reuse VC1 music a lot. And that's kind of a shame. Like, part of a game's identity is definitely its music. And if you borrow music a lot, you're kind of borrowing an identity, right? It doesn't help your case for making your game distinct, all right? I like VC1 music a lot, but I think that if Hitoshi Sakimoto is too expensive to like contract out to make new music, then you should probably find another composer. I love Sakimoto's music. I think it's fantastic. But if you can't afford to pay the guy, I don't think it's worth getting only half of the deal in battle music. And it's a real shame because the battle music in this game is extremely good. In VC4. The VC4 battle music is amazingly good. But there's only four tracks or so. So, yeah, you feel like you're getting kind of cheated a little. Is there anything else really? Nope, I think that's everything. Alright, thanks for tuning into my very short addendum review of Valkyria Chronicles 4. I plan on typing this up, have this big Google Doc of like my opinions and